Welcome to the Social Podcast, where no discussion or debate is off limits.
Welcome to the Social. We look a little different than we did yesterday, just a little bit. Joining us today, Jamar McNeil, of course, co-host of Josie and Jamar on Toronto's Channel 105. How was your Halloween?
Wonderful.
Yeah,
it was so great. It was so great seeing all the kids in the neighborhood. The weather was perfect.
Oh my gosh,
right?
yeah.
It was awesome.
It was 21 degrees in my neighborhood last night.
Oh my
God.
It's so different. Remember when we used to go out trick-or-treating, you had to put your costume over your snowsuit?
Yes, that's
Absolutely.
right.
Kids today
It's
don't
crazy.
know.
They have no
don't
clue.
know.
They're getting it
Kids don't
easy.
Usually we get the first snow.
Yeah. Quick shout out to the kid who went dressed as Phil Donahue. It was one of the best concerts I've ever seen in my life.
Nice.
If you're watching,
Nice.
you're probably in school, but thank you for that.
Wow.
Oh, wait, before we start, my condolences. My condolences to you. His team lost the World Series to the LA Dodgers. Just
all
let's
right.
make sure he's okay.
It's so,
Controlling
it's
a
so
little?
great. We have 27 other rings to sleep with tonight. It's completely fine.
Welcome to the new edition of the Sports, the Social. Yeah, we're doing that. Well, everybody, why don't we shift something to something I think a lot of us can relate to, or at least you're hearing about. We're talking about Taylor Swift because we are about to enter our Taylor Swift season here in Toronto. Well, not even just Toronto. Toronto and Vancouver, we are all prepping for the Eras Tour to land, and hotels and money-savvy residents are now cashing in with some short-term rentals costing 10 times more than on non-show weekends. So is it fair to be cashing in on these out-of-town Swifties? Jamar?
In a capitalist system, there is no such thing as the word fair.
Oh.
It is what the market
free
dictates.
market.
And I don't know any hotel owner or Airbnb owner that is going to take a small rate when the guy next door is getting $1,000, $2,000
Sure.
for the same rental.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. Now, if we want to switch the system and go to, say, communism or something, we don't want to do that, right?
Right.
So this is the
That's the
system.
free market.
This is the market.
I'm just curious, you live in the city?
I do live in the city.
Would you give up your place?
I have given up my place.
For you, Taylor Swift?
I've been waiting for this week forever. We got some space in the bottom of the house, an Airbnb spot.
You're charging.
We're charging top dollar for that joint. Of course.
Wow.
My God.
I've been waiting for this since the concert was announced.
But I'm gonna just guess.
Yes.
This is gonna be a boon for you because the whole idea is, I'm sure, mortgage, rent, you're gonna pay off some bills, maybe go on vacation as a result, right?
This is a Punta Cana week for us. But it is what it is. I feel bad. I mean, a lot of people can't afford these tickets, but this is the biggest city in the country.
Yeah.
Everything here is expensive.
And, apparently, according to Destination Toronto, up to 50% of the people coming to town for Eras Tour are not from here. So that's a huge number.
Like, I totally agree with everything you're saying. It's just sort of matter of fact. But I still think it's gross. And I think when we see like these disparaging prices, like upwards at like $20,000
Yeah.
for tickets. I saw one report, $100,000.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true, but I think we're looking to blame someone or
Yeah.
something. You know, like, do we blame Ticketmaster?
You remember high school's the invisible hand, the economics. That's what it is. That's what we blame.
We want to blame someone.
Yeah.
I think that I have some solid advice for anybody who's thinking, you know what, these tickets are too expensive, the hotels are too expensive, the flights are too expensive. Just wait. Because earlier this year, I saw Madonna in concert. Now, Madonna is 60 years old, and I really wanted to see her back in her prime, in her heyday. Remember when she would have the bed on stage? I wanted to see that concert, but I was not allowed to sleep on the street and wait for my ticket. Remember? Kids, back in the day, that's what we had to do. And I didn't have the money, but I just waited. And you know what? I got those tickets for under $200. So, Swiftie fans, if it's too expensive, just wait. When her grandkids are grown, you'll be able to see it for a fraction of the cost.
Middle-aged Tay-Tay.
You know what? I do want to say, I know there's a lot of people who are really complaining about this, and some of them understandably so.
Yeah. Sure.
But is it true that maybe a little bit of short-term pain for long-term gain if you're a Torontonian? Because we've already been having press conferences with the police department saying, we're ready, this is what we're going to do for traffic, this is what we're going to do for safety. But we are in an economic grind. The municipal government is hurting for dollars. She is scheduled to bring in almost $300 million in economic activity in 2 weeks.
Right. Oh
So
my God.
$300 million is a lot of money. There's a lot of people who are experiencing homelessness that can get some help. There's a lot of mental health services that the municipality pays for. I think if we can just yes, somebody's going to pay, but somebody's going to benefit here in Toronto. So I just want to say maybe we just have to reframe this.
We could get that secret tunnel under the 401. Anyway, next question. Are you a friend hoarder? Because an article in The Atlantic looks into our aversion for mixing friend groups and found that with the internet, the phenomenon is in hyperdrive. So do you guys do this where you have maybe a couple different groups of friends and you keep them apart?
Yes?
My name is Melissa, and I do this.
Okay, why?
I don't know why I do this. That's a great question. My whole life I've done this, and I've been trying to unpack it just because I knew we were going to talk about it on the show, and I didn't realize I was doing it until we really started to dive deep. And I guess it's because I have different groups of friends that fulfill different things, and maybe that's why. And I've always been like that. I've been able to have so many different groups of friends, which is a beautiful thing. But the idea of all of them coming together under one roof, it freaks me out, and I don't know why. I don't know why.
I used to be like that in my late teens and early 20s, where I didn't want different friends to meet. And I have to admit, I think I know why. I think it came out of a deep sense of insecurity and territorialism.
You were territorial about your friends.
Yeah, like it was ego-driven, I think, and jealousy.
You didn't want them to become friends?
Yeah.
Why?
Like
I would leave you out?
I think so. I'm not like that now. Like my dream, my 3 best friends don't know each other. And so my dream is to have, and it's mostly location. One's in Truro, Nova Scotia. Shout out to Truro. Other one's in Italy, and the other one's Toronto, and I'm Hamilton. So like the idea of the 4 of us ever, it could go sideways.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's gonna go sideways. No, honestly, I never thought about this. I had a birthday party, and of course, you want to invite all of your friends. So I invited all of my friends, your work friends, your family friends, all the different groups, and I thought this is gonna be great. It was a disaster.
Why?
During the party, everybody sectioned off like it was a junior high dance and only socialized with their own little group. And then I felt like I had to go to each group and spend just the right amount of time socializing with them, and then go over this, oh, how are you guys doing? Check with them. And then go, and I'm like, at the end of the night, I go, I will never do that again. I'm gonna hang out with them separately, because they were like oil and water. They did not want to mix.
Well,
it
this
was
is
so
the story of
strange.
my gatherings. I'm the only thing all my friends have in common. I've got like my Caribbean friends, I've got my corporate friends, I got my friends of my son's kids. And like they all get in one room and they're like, what do we have in common? And I'm looking around, I'm like, what accent do I use to talk to each one of these groups? I'm like, corporate patois, like who am I talking to right now?
The code switching is exhausting.
It's weird, it's crazy, but like I'm guilty for it.
Actually, that's an interesting point with the code switching, because I think whether you are doing that for language purposes or culture purposes, I think we all code switch to a certain degree, right? And so maybe the whole thing is you're going to reveal, I have to reveal a part of me here, but I don't want to reveal that side of me over here. Like maybe you're onto something.
You're onto something.
Yes.
And it's weird for people.
What are we hiding, Jess?
I know, like, what am I hiding from? Like, I expose one part of myself, expose to work people, but not to like high school.
Well, work people, it's an HR issue. Trying to avoid. That's usually why you hide stuff.
You're right.
This is interesting. We just scratched the surface. That's what I love about this show.
Don't mix the friends stuff. Don't mix them. How much do we want to know about what goes on behind closed bedroom doors in Hollywood? We don't want to know, we want to know? Well, Grazia Daily has a roundup of celebrities who've opened up about their open marriages. Like RuPaul's Drag Race star Michelle Visage, who recently revealed sex with other people saved her relationship. Okay. Well, of course, Jada Pinkett Smith famously said marriage for her and Will can't be a prison. Even Angelina Jolie once said she and Brad Pitt did not have restrictions when they were together.
What?
A lot of you did not know that. I could tell by the way your mouth is open.
Wow.
Do you like hearing these details, or is it TMI?
I like hearing what I'm never gonna do. I'm not built for that. You know, I feel like a lot of these celebs do this for the clicks, they do it for the likes, they do it for the headlines, and it works. But let's just be real, their relationships don't work.
Yeah.
None of them work, right? They're
Open
all
or not.
Open or not, they're all in shambles. They're all on the verge of breaking up. They're
Yeah.
all miserable, and we find out later. But they do these little hot takes so that we talk about it on the social.
So it's titillating.
So it's titillating, yeah.
This is a genuine question. Why do you think they open up about it? Do you think because they want to somehow normalize it?
I think they don't want to get caught by the paparazzi
Yeah, you
out
wanna
to
get
dinner with
paid.
somebody.
That's a good one. That's
You
a
get
good one.
ahead of
Get ahead of the
If I'm in an
story.
open relationship and you see me with another man, it's not a story.
Right.
Whereas if you know I have a famous husband and you see me with another man, well, that's going to be everywhere. You know what? I kind of miss the days where I just didn't know what was going on in the bedrooms of all celebrities. I miss those
Everyone,
days
full
where
stop.
they gave me those glossy People magazine articles where they told me nothing but their astrological sign. I really miss those days. And when I got tired of it, the entanglement, that whole thing with Will and Jada. I don't know about you guys, but I was so tired of hearing about it. I also felt like I don't care what they do. They're adults, and if they wanted to have an open marriage, that's great. But the way it unfolded, it became so messy, and then everybody got into their business and started to talk about a couple that they really have never met, don't know, and they don't know what the details are. But everybody was chiming in, and then they did that terrible interview on the Red Table Talk. Remember that? And Will was looking, and then everybody was speculating, and then it, culminated into a slap situation at a particular award show. And I think that lesson for every celebrity should be like, keep your mouth shut. Don't tell people. If it's between the two of you, that's great. Live your marriage and do that.
Yeah.
But don't make it public, because everybody and their mama's gonna talk about it and do a TikTok about it and do a whole show about it, and we're gonna talk about it here and get paid to do that. And you don't need that.
I will say, I know Cynthia's not here today. Let me try to channel my inner Cynthia Loyst.
What would Cynthia say?
What would Cynthia say is that it would be maybe refreshing and relatable for the world to understand that marriage between two people in monogamy is not necessarily a choice for everybody, that relationships have different colors and flavors and seasons. So we should normalize the fact that just because maybe I choose monogamy and you don't, that we can still coexist. So I think that that's what Cynthia would
You do
say.
it for Cynthia. That's a good Cynthia.
We got that Cynthia.
I think we can all agree that no one's kids want to be known as the kids of the parents sleeping around the whole city.
Here's the
Like
thing.
those poor kids, man.
It's a good point, because you brought up Will and Jada, and obviously their kids, maybe at the time, they're older now.
Yeah, they're older.
We don't know when this started to come out, but I will say, if you are, let's say, in an open marriage and that's your choice and it works for you, and that's very progressive. Maybe that's not what a lot of people are used to hearing or seeing. You could be progressive, but culture and society generally isn't. Right. So if that kid goes to school and is like, oh my God, I heard your mom is sleeping with other people.
Absolutely.
It's like that kid has to bear the consequence of the choice of your lifestyle. So I just think that that is something to think.
I also think our rush to normalize everything is abnormal and kind of defeats the purpose.
That's a good one.
Hear me out,
That's a good
because I
take.
think part of the reason with open marriages, why they do work for some people, is precisely because that's the kink. Like, it is abnormal. It's taboo. It's like, oh my God, we're so naughty.
That's the
It's a
titillating.
niche culture. It's wonderful sometimes to be abnormal because you're going against the status quo. That becomes the sexy part of it. And so to normalize, like, we're not gonna normalize. I think it wouldn't be as exciting if we were all doing it.
Doing it, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you make a good point. I also think it's a different situation. I think if we're talking about regular people, like someone in Ajax, Ontario who has an open marriage, great for Tim and Sally.
Yeah.
And knock yourselves out. But when you're a famous person, and now you open yourself up to the DMs, because it's not like back in the day where people can't reach you. Everybody has social media. We can reach you. We can get into those DMs. We can get into those comments. I think you open yourself up to a different world that's going to be a little bit more sinister. There's a reason why celebrities don't want people to know where they live and where their children go to school, for privacy and for your safety. So why would you open up your marriage to those same people? Why is that?
I guess for those people, though, yeah, but if they're not ashamed, like we're using it through the lens.
It's for your safety. It's more like you're super
Maybe they don't think
person.
it's, I get what you're saying, but I think if you put yourself in their shoes and they think that this is normal, then our take is the one that sounds a little bit prudish.
I don't think they think it's normal. I think they say it because they know it's not normal. And they know that it's going to get the impressions. They know, or else there'd be nothing to talk about.
Okay, if you're consenting
Like, why
adults,
say
we
it?
don't want to start labeling things abnormal on this show.
Right.
Finally, being normal isn't all it's cracked up to be. Moving on. People on Reddit are weighing in on what common traditions they think will disappear in the next 25 years. Things like class reunions or lining up for Black Friday sales, stuff like that. So is there a tradition, everyone here, that you would like to say bye-bye?
Oh, I have one. Okay, so before I had this job, you guys know I was a news anchor at CTV News Channel, and I'd worked in news before, and I've covered a lot of stories, but there was one story that I always have to really just like hold on to the table to cover, and that was that Puxatawny filler. Anytime that rodent was coming out of his hole to tell us what the weather was going to be for the next weeks in beside Shadow, and I was talking to adults in full tuxedos at 6 a.m. having a serious conversation about this rodent coming out of his hole and what our weather was going to be. And if we could do away with that, I would be a very happy camper. I do not understand it.
Oh my gosh, Wyerton Willie, shout out also.
All of them,
There's a
all
bunch
the
of
rodents.
the rodents.
Puxatawny, Wyerton.
I know this weekend, I think we're coming up on it. I would also love to dump the tradition of changing our clocks, because I'm done with that. Done with that.
It's a bit antiquated.
Done that. I'm over it. I would also like to dump the tradition of parents doing their kids' homeworks and projects.
Oh, okay.
As a former teacher, I see you, parents. I see that your son or daughter did not do their own project. And I will not give you an A+ because your volcano is amazing.
Right. Yeah.
Because I know your child didn't do it. So drop it.
Can I put one in the pot?
Yeah.
Can we get rid of like the pageants, like Miss America and all that stuff?
You're done.
I mean, if you're Keisha with the box braids, right? You're never gonna be Miss America, right? Like, she's not gonna win.
I disagree. How are we gonna save the world if we don't have them?
Exactly, right? So I don't know. I just feel like those things are from a time where we had one aesthetic and like kind of one culture as the norm. And like, that's just not the world anymore. So how do you even measure or judge who is the representative of the entire country, especially countries like Canada,
where we're scholarship money. They do
I
get
know.
scholarship
We got to do it a different way, though.
It's not just for looks.
Yeah,
there are
little
a lot
girls.
of very successful women who came up through the pageant circuit, and it's uncomfortable for people to know that reality. Like Katie Couric, Tia and Tamari Mowry. These are all people who did the.
Maybe a different generation.
There are a lot of
Maybe
people who came up, so it's not all bad.
What do you think, Jess?
Oh, mine's hot.
Okay.
I would never admit this on national television, so just between us. What about getting rid of baby showers and wedding showers?
Out of here.
Why? It almost goes back to our Swiftflation conversation.
Yes.
What do I mean by that? Because like you're making a life choice. You want to go see a Taylor Swift concert, you have to pay that money. So if you're making a life choice to legally get married in a church or in City Hall, or you're deciding to have a kid, I'm so happy for you. But why should I have to pay for it? Why should I have to pay for it?
Jess Allen is controversial.
I like that. I like
that.
I'm happy for your choices. Just like,
what do you think about the idea that it is a community rallying around, in most cases, the mom, to help her get things to get ready for the baby?
But in most cases, the women I know it's either their third kid and I'm getting invited. You have everything. Same with wedding. Like you've lived together for 15 years.
You have a toaster.
You have everything you want.
It's definitely turned into more of a circus.
It's true. It's turned into more of a circus.
So when you have Hollywood money, we expect a top-notch Halloween costume from you. So let's talk about the best celebrity costumes that we have seen so far this year. Jamar, who do you think deserves some flowers for their costume?
Listen, Kim Kardashian killed it this year.
Oh.
Look at that.
Look at that, yeah.
What is she? She's an albino alligator.
An albino alligator. Are we sure that's not just an AI picture?
No, that's really her. She showed the glow up and everything. Now,
wow.
I'm not a reptosexual. But
I think I'd like to be.
I would see that alligator later.
Jamar.
She looks great.
She does look good. It is a really
it's seamless from top to bottom. You can't even see where it ends or where it begins.
Is it a bodysuit or is it all body paint?
It's like latex and stuff pasted on and airbrushing.
Do you know if she went out like this? Because I'd like to know how she goes to the bathroom.
I'm sure there's a hatch somewhere there.
Maybe so.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe so.
But it was a good job.
It was an amazing job. I went with somebody who it wasn't quite that elaborate, but it was still spot on. So don't show the picture yet. We all know who Halle Berry is, right?
Yeah.
And you know who Halle Bailey is?
Yeah.
Halle Bailey.
Okay, Halle Bailey went as Halle Berry from that's her. Right. So she redid the James Bond 2002. Halle Berry was
She got
Jinx.
underboob.
Yeah.
Die Another Day, and so Halle Bailey did the nod. Like, it is amazing. She looks amazing.
Well, she had to do that. She's
She
been
had to
called
do that.
Halle Berry forever, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Lead into it.
And
Yeah.
Halle Berry commented on the Instagram post saying, "Oh, my girl did that. What a huge compliment. Love you, Angel." To which Halle said, "My queen approves. My life is made." And it turns out that there was an inspiration for her naming to be Halle Bailey. Her parents wanted to name her Haley Bailey. That didn't work. So they went with Halle because of Halle Berry, but not exactly named after her. Anyway, I just say full circle moment and well done.
Yeah. Also, we can't forget that Halle Bailey just had a baby months ago and is in that little bikini
Amazing.
with that
Snapback
underboob.
is serious,
I'm
right?
very impressed. So my choice was kind of an obvious choice. She kills Halloween every single year, and I'm talking about Heidi Klum. She hosts an annual party. She had her 23rd annual. That is Heidi Klum as E.T. You know the scene from the movie that came out in '82?
Oh,
now, can you see her face?
Yeah, now I can.
Her face
I can't see.
is in the neck.
Oh, the face in the neck.
Do you see
Look
it?
at that.
And
Yeah.
she has an animatronic head on top of her head. So if you look in the neck, you'll see Heidi's real eyes in her nose and her mouth, and that her and her husband Tom he also is dressed up as E.T. It is incredible. Every single year, she knocks it out of the park. This one was great.
Seeing some of the celebrity outfits, I have to admit, it makes me tired just looking at like all the work and the money that goes into it. I went with a local celebrity, your morning's very own, our own, Lindsay DeLuce, who went as the Australian Olympic dancer, Ray Gunn, who stole our hearts. I mean, Lindsay, she got down on the floor, she did the moves. This to me, cheap and cheerful, and she nailed it. Like she sends the humor. I loved it. Come on.
Go, Lindsay. Go, Lindsay. Go, Lindsay. Go, Lindsay. Go, Lindsay.
That was awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Lindsay's the best.
That was a lot of fun. Good job, everybody. Nice choices. Those were really, really fun. Really fun. Jamar, it's also been great having you back. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Don't forget, you can catch Josie and Jamar weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on Toronto's Chum 104.5. I love to listen to you on the
Thank you
drive
so
home.
much.
I absolutely do.
Subscribe to the Social Podcast so you don't miss a fiery debate. Until next time, socialites.